Now in part 2 of this segment, we'll take a look at some of the adjustments between Tom Thibodeau and Nick Nurse. As in this series, there are multiple battles going on within the chessboard, and particularly in this segment, we're going to see it play out with the non-Embiid and the non-Jalen Brunson minutes, as well as Thibodeau introducing a new scoring dynamic in the second half with Isaiah Hartenstein. But I'm not going to say no more. Let's just get to it.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
Alcohol, right.
Now in the first half, Josh Hart was going crazy, scoring 19 points, especially in that second quarter, knocking down all his threes. Now, even though he was cooking, it did not change the Philadelphia 76ers defensive approach when dealing with Jalen Brunson. From time to time, not only they had a third person sag off their man to clog up his attacking lanes, but they made it very difficult for him to initially even get the ball in order to penetrate. But Josh Hart just being everywhere in that first half, just getting a block, a steal, 9 rebounds. He definitely opened up the ability for Jalen Brunson to at least get different looks in that first half. Now to start off, we'll just take a look at some of the defensive looks that Jalen Brunson is getting very early on. And just like game 1 right here, we're seeing Kyle Lowry sag off, and they're sort of clogging up his attacking lanes really early on. Look at the way Kyle Lowry sags off Josh Hart. Once again, they're going to make Jalen Brunson work really hard to get the ball for all 4 quarters, and eventually that'll begin to wear off. But they're keeping the lanky defender in Kelly Oubre right behind Brunson to stop him from just getting into his mid-range game. But once again, Kyle Lowry sags off. Triangle just like in game 1. Embiid is the backup to protect the rim. And we're going to see them, kind of mess up Jalen Brunson from getting into that mid-range game. Once again, right here, we're going to see Embiid, Oubre, and Kyle Lowry all focus on Brunson. But right here, we're going to see a little cross action between Brunson and Dante. And the focus is so much on Jalen Brunson, that's going to create a lot of spacing for Dante to get the shot off. See a little cross action right here between Dante and Brunson. And Dante has plenty of spacing for the shot. Let's look at it again. Look at Oubre and Maxi. They're going to be so focused on Brunson. Little cross action right there. Enough spacing for Dante to knock down the shot. Now with the way the 76ers are double teaming Brunson, there's something about him coming down the sidelines right here. Instead of him coming down the middle, there's something about him coming from the sides. And we'll see it sporadically throughout this segment here, that within this game, him doing so actually created options for him. As we're going to see the fake dribble handoff right here, going straight downhill. Now, even though right here, he is going to draw a foul, he does have options. He's going to have the corner shooter, and he's also going to have the options of guys collapsing for not only offensive rebounds, and also for looks. And get assists right here. And we've seen the Knicks utilize this tactic towards the end of game 1, as right here at this point, this is where the Knicks had 2 players come up and give Jalen Brunson the options of having 2 screens on both sides of Oubre. And Brunson would make a move, either reject it or go down the sidelines right here. And sort of the same scenario that plays out right here, where at this point right here, him coming to the weak side, he'll have players collapsing, Hartenstein coming down to at least give him an option or even crash the boards. But also, he can draw a foul, and he has options to hit the shooter. So this was something that they did utilize towards the end of game 1. There's something about having Brunson come from the sides that kind of messes up the 76ers from having someone else collapse on Brunson, because they have to make that full commitment across the court. As we're going to see right here from the start of the possession, look at Brunson. He's going to go straight to the sideline. This is on purpose right here. Look at Brunson as he comes off this screen and begins to penetrate to get to his zone, his sweet spots right here in the mid-range. Anywhere right here, they're not going to allow that to happen. Look at the focus at this point. Everybody's focus is on Brunson. Everybody. Josh Hart, even though he was hot, and he's made his first couple of field goals in this quarter, and they're still gambling on that. So 2 defenders right there to contest. So right here, we're going to see all the effort it takes just to get Brunson the ball. A little cross action right here between Josh Hart and Brunson into the Mitch dribble handoff, and now they're going to get into some pick and roll. And if there's no option here, which there isn't, now it's time to set up Brunson one-on-one with the lengthy Kelly Oubre. And whether it's Kelly Oubre or Tobias Harris, they're always going to have a lengthy person defending Brunson or the speedy Tyrese Maxey. So Brunson throughout this series is going to be bothered, and it's going to be really good to see how he makes his adjustments, or just the Knicks overall. But all these actions, about 3 of them, is just to set up Brunson to get to this point. One-on-one, shot clock winding down, right here to get to his sweet spot around the free throw line. And he just has to convert, but that is his bag right there. Now right here, Jalen Brunson coming down the sideline off this pick. Now this is perfect. This is one-on-one with Embiid, and if he beats him off the dribble, Kyle Lowry's going to have to make that full commitment across court. He's going to have to leave Josh Hart open. He's also going to have to be wary of him crashing. Same thing for OG, and the same thing applies to Tobias Harris. If he fully commits to help out Embiid, he's going to have to worry about OG crashing. So right here, look at Kyle Lowry, as he's not going to really fully make that commitment. Now let's look at that one more time. Pay attention to Kyle Lowry. Look at him looking behind his back, checking to see Josh Hart is crashing, and Brunson has it right there one-on-one to just beat Embiid off the dribble. So right here you see the benefits of the Knicks kind of having that counter punch of having Brunson come down the sidelines and forcing the help defenders to fully commit to the other side of the court. So even though Tyrese Maxey was dealing with an illness and Joel Embiid with a bum knee, it didn't stop them from putting the 76ers offense on their back, as Tyrese Maxey in that first quarter alone only took 3 shots to score 9 points, as he finished the half with 20 points and 5 assists. But the combination of him and Embiid is definitely going to create a lot of conundrums for teams, because with Maxey dancing around the perimeter and knocking down threes at a high clip, it opened things up for Joel not only to get to his spots, but it left the Knicks in a spot to figure out whether to double team Maxey off that pick and roll or deal with Embiid operating out of the high post and them elbows, as he was able to get 12 points and 8 rebounds in the first quarter alone, and finishing the half already at a double-double with 16 points and 10 rebounds. So just like in game 1, dealing with these two out here from 3-point range and just these pick and rolls, these dribble handoffs, it's going to be an issue. Not only dealing with the speedy Maxey, who already has knocked down threes at a high clip at this point in the game, we're also going to have to deal with the face-up game of Joel Embiid. He can knock down shots. He can operate out here at the high post, make jump shots from there. He's good at posting up at the elbows. He can dominate you within the paint. I mean, he could do it all. And this year, he has improved his playmaking ability with the passing, especially with Nick Nurse and his free-flowing offense. But right here, you're going to see the issues dealing with not only Tyrese Maxey already being hot, but just having Joel Embiid out here in the perimeter, just being able to do this at a high clip. So right here is another prime example of the pick and roll between Embiid and Maxey, especially operating way up here. Maxey coming off this pick. Now look at Joel. Initially on this hedge, he has a mismatch with Dante DiVincenzo, but Hartenstein is going to recover. But right here is where Embiid is an issue. Even though Hartenstein dripped all over him, he could still knock down this shot at a high clip. Let's look at it again as Embiid does a dribble handoff and he rolls. Now the same way Hartenstein has hedged right here, because Maxey already has been hot from 3, they need to do the same thing when Embiid is operating out of the high post. The same energy needs to be exuded right here, because this is Embiid's bag. And it's not only because of his shooting ability, his ability to play make, to look defenders off and get guys the ball in the corners. Embiid is able to do that this season, especially with Nick Nurse, the way he operates his offense. I know it sounds simple, but this is the reason why it's hard to guard the Tyrese Embiid pick and roll. They have the ability of breaking down defenses in many different ways, and that really starts with Joel Embiid and his versatility of skill sets as a big man. Now right here is another prime example of the difficulty guarding the pick and roll with these two, as McBride right here is dealing with Maxi speed, and right now Hartenstein is forced to deal with a difficult decision, whether to step up and worry about Maxi, who's already been knocking down 3-point shots at a high clip at this point, or dealing with Embiid being the roll man. And not only the Embiid has the ability to make this shot right here, he can actually look off Josh Hart, make that initial entry right here, and then make the pass to Batum, but knocks down this J. But once again, right here, they force Hartenstein to make a tough decision. Maxi's already fast enough, but look at the conundrum right here. He can make this pass if he has to. Right here to Batum, and this is Batum's shot. So the 76ers with the pick and roll Embiid and Maxi do have options. Now right here, we're going to see Hartenstein and OG deal with the Maxi and Embiid pick and roll at the 3-point line, as they're going to hedge Maxi, keep him going to his left. But look at Embiid. Now one-on-one with Hartenstein. Look at that, the versatility of that big man. He could do it all. So once again, right here, they're not trying to lose Maxi, either beating them to the cup or making this 3-point shot. But they keep him going to his left. But you're going to pay somehow with these two in the pick and roll. Is Embiid, he can knock down that shot. That's easy money for him. Now in this series, there will be multiple battles happening on different fronts, very similar to a boxing fight, where guys have to worry about the cuts to their eyes, how well it gets maintained by the different cut mans, also how each boxer will adjust from round to round, and also how well their stamina will hold up with the numerous tactics that have been applied with the body blows from round to round. And in this series between the Knicks and the 76ers, the same things will apply. Joel Embiid with that bum knee, how long can he hold up against the Knicks offensive rebounding? Can the Knicks continue to execute in the transition offense, not allowing the 76ers to set up? How well will the role man of each team step up from game to game? Also, which superstars will make the proper adjustments as this series goes along? And finally, this right here might be the biggest battle of them all. How well will each side take advantage of the non-Embiid versus the non-Brunson minutes? And in the second quarter, the Knicks maintained themselves in the non-Embiid minutes. From the start of the second quarter all the way to the point when Embiid checked in 5 minutes later, the Knicks at that stretch held up, scoring at the exact same pace as the 76ers, 11-11, both teams shooting 50% and having no turnovers. And when we look at the inverse, by the time Jalen Brunson checked out for about a 5-minute stretch, the Knicks were able to maintain themselves as they shot 50% from the field, Josh Hart knocking down a tray. Same thing for Deuce and Dante. But once again, they did not turn the ball over. As the 76ers in that same time span had the same stats, they shot a little bit better, 60%, but they did have a turnover. So once again, the Knicks and the 76ers at least maintained their offense at the same clip, limiting their turnovers in the non-Brunson and Embiid minutes within the second quarter. And this same battle will continue to play out in the third quarter. So in the third quarter, the Knicks were able to outscore the 76ers 30-21. And this is what the Knicks effectively utilizing the mobility of Isaiah Hartenstein, as he was able to get a couple of floaters to come down and also begin to tire out Joel Embiid. But the Knicks, with a nice combination of OG and McBride, were able to maintain Tyrese Maxey, limiting him to going 0 for 4 within the quarter. So the Knicks in the third quarter did a really good job maintaining Tyrese Maxey. Brunson right here keeping him going left to his weak hand, and they were able to contain him throughout the quarter. So with Tyrese Maxey still kind of going through his progressions as a young NBA player, the Knicks started doing something very interesting right here. They started having some of the corner shooters actually step up and take away his role man, because sometimes Maxey at times, he does not hit his corner shooters when they're wide open. And sometimes we'll see this right here. Brunson completely took away Embiid from being the role man, but he hits his shooters right here. But we'll see throughout this game, there were times that he definitely missed his open shooters. Okay, so right here is a prime example of what I was referencing to earlier. Check out the corner shooter right here and look at Buddy Hield as he begins to get open. Maxey's gonna miss him. Once again, This is a Luka Doncic, James Harden type pass, but Maxey at times, he does overlook his shooters. That's a difficult shot. Once again, right here, let's take a look at Maxi upon this entry. Look at Oubre, wide open, corner three. But he misses him. Maxi once again completely misses Kyle Lowry right here. Wide open. And to a degree, good Kelly Oubre. But that'll be a more difficult pass to make. But Lowry once again wide open. That's an easy pass right there. Maxi right here in transition misses the weak side corner man and Nick Batum. But he still makes it. But the weak side corner man is usually the guy he overlooks. So right here, OG is the one that's guarding Nick Batum. So with the Knicks upon entry to contain Maxi, OG could stunt in a little bit more. Because Maxi, he doesn't really have that Luka type ability of just making that cross-court pass. That James Harden / Luka passing ability. So yeah, OG right here is the one could stunt in more and help. That's one way the Knicks could deal with the Maxi speed. Hell, OG could have stunted a lot quicker. But Knicks could clog in the lanes for Maxi by using whoever's defending the weak side shooter. So in the beginning of the second half, we're going to see the Knicks utilize Hartenstein to actually take advantage of Embiid not being as mobile. Very early on in this possession, we don't see Hartenstein actually start off down low. He stays up top, bringing Embiid with him. And now they're going to get into some actions here. Once again, Hartenstein getting involved, taking advantage of Embiid's immobility. So right here, the Knicks continue to take advantage of Embiid playing the half-ass injured man. As having Hartenstein drag him all the way out here is going to create spacing for other guys to get involved. We're going to see them run into some action right here. Embiid is going to play drop back coverage. Of course, he's immobile. And it's going to lead to some spacing for OG to knock down this shot. Again, right here, there's something about Brunson coming from the sidelines that affects this little triangle that they always try to put in his way and to get rid of his attacking lanes. But look at Hartenstein on this roll. He's got a mismatch with Maxi. But there's something about Brunson coming from the sidelines that just really throws off that help defense. So with Hartenstein getting more involved in the offense, there's like a little weak point with the 76ers right here around these dotted lines in the paint. Embiid never comes out that far. So every time one of the Knicks players penetrate, whether it be Brunson, Hart, McBride, Embiid is always the low man that's going to try to protect the rim. So right here is his weak point. So if Hartenstein can begin to get to a floater game right here. See, Embiid is always going to be late on that closeout. Once again, all the attention and focus is on Brunson. Embiid serving as the rim protector right here is going to lead to Hartenstein having a nice little floater game going. Embiid's so focused on protecting the rim, he's always going to be, a step late on that closeout. So this is one way the Knicks could actually effectively utilize this little defense that the 76ers love to put on Brunson. You see Batum staying purposely behind him. You got Embiid protecting the rim, disturbing Brunson's mid-range game. The counter to that is having Hartenstein have a floater game, whether Brunson comes from the sidelines, start the floater game up here, or by the elbows. So now let's get into some of Jalen Brunson's looks in this third quarter. As right here, he's not going to allow Philly to set up their defense and quick transition bucket. We got to play with pace. We got to play fast to not let Philly set up that little triangle that they keep putting Brunson in. The Knicks sometimes do fall victim into playing into the 76ers style of play. That sort of slow-paced 1999 style of Utah Jazz basketball. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. So the Knicks right here are continuing to build on what they did at the end of game one, having Brunson come from the sidelines and then attack the weak side having multiple guys out there. And it's going to begin to have the 76ers trying to close out and recover. And it's going to lead to some offense. So Brunson, once again, here's a prime example of the different looks that he's getting. You got Embiid, Maxey, and Lowry. But the 76ers are going to switch it up. Look at Oubre kind of stunting in a little bit, little by little. And he's going to recover right here to get the block on Brunson. So Brunson, once again, he's looking ahead. He sees Lowry. You know he's going to sag off of Hart a little bit. He sees Embiid as the low man. But he's not looking in this direction at Oubre. Oubre is going to begin to slowly stunt in. Once again, see Lowry. Lowry serving as the help. Embiid is the low man, protecting the rim. Brunson once again getting another different look. A few possessions later, this time Harris is guarding him. Lowry does not commit. Lowry does not even stunt. So Brunson is once again one-on-one with a long, lengthy defender. They parked Batum on him a couple of times. He has to deal with the speedy Maxi every once in a while. And he's got to deal with Embiid always at the rim trying to protect it. And Kyle Lowry, from time to time, he sags off. But this time he doesn't. Probably doesn't because, you know, it's Tobias Harris on Brunson. So all these different looks throughout the game, it's definitely taxing. But it's part of playoff basketball. This is what it's all about. Teams have a whole 2-week span to scheme up on players from game to game. So even though Jalen Brunson keeps getting different looks, we're going to see some of the counters that the Knicks have. Once again, coming from the sidelines, it's going to force Batum, Maxi, or Tobias Harris to have to make that full commitment to the other side of the court. As Brunson attacks, you see how none of them fully stunt. It's going to be real difficult from that angle of Brunson coming from the sidelines. They're going to have to commit to the other side of the court, leaving guys open. And Brunson is able to get this bucket to go down, and the Knicks take the lead for the first time in the game. So as the third quarter progressed, the non-Embiid and non-Jalen Brunson minutes proved to be very vital in this game. As soon as Embiid checked out, the Knicks were able to take advantage, scoring 10 points, having 0 turnovers, which I have to emphasize, on 66% shooting. And as far as the 76ers, they were not able to maintain their offense as they only had 5 points with 2 turnovers on 28% shooting. So guys like Maxi were well contained and other guys couldn't quite get it going. But by the time Embiid checked back in and Brunson checked out, the Knicks had maintained themselves in the non-Brunson minutes, scoring 8 points on only 1 turnover. Even though they couldn't get their shots to go down, the fact that Bojan hit those 2 back-to-back shots helped them to get 6 out of those 8 points. Meanwhile, the 76ers had more shot attempts. They were shooting 60% from the field, but they had 2 turnovers in those non-Jalen Brunson minutes. And with the 2 steals the Knicks were able to get, it helped them maintain the score. But these very minutes in this whole series will prove to be vital, especially in this game. Because when it comes down to the nitty-gritty in this very game, the 76ers were not able to capitalize in the non-Brunson and Embiid minutes. But Jalen Brunson checked back in with about 8 minutes to go in the fourth after the Deuce McBride and 1, and the Knicks were up 8. Now right here, the Knicks up 3, the game is real tight. This looks very similar to the end of game 1. You got a screen on this side. You got Hartenstein acting like he's going to do a screen, but it's really a ghost screen with him rolling. You got the wing shooters out here. And we're going to see the 76ers actually give the Knicks a different look. There's Hartenstein with the ghost screen. Brunson's going to take it. Now we're going to see Tobias Harris actually stunt in, but not really make that full commitment. Embiid still serving as the low man, protecting the rim. And Brunson makes the proper read right here to take the shot. Yeah, he doesn't fully commit here. Got Hart open, but Brunson makes the proper read because this is his spot right here. Now with the Knicks up 5, Jalen Brunson stays real patient coming off this screen as Nick Batum comes in and double teams, but he's going to get Deuce a real good look right here. Real good look. Knicks still up 5. Brunson gets a nice little 1v1 right here with Tyrese Maxey, but he just misses it. Now the Knicks up 2, and once again, the 76ers got the long wingspan of Harris on Brunson. If it's not Harris, it's sometimes Batum. If it's not Batum, Brunson is dealing with the speedy Maxi. And if it's not Maxi, he's dealing with the long wingspan of Kelly Oubre. But once again, upon this entry, Brunson is going to get a different look. Doesn't really quite get the commitment from Batum right here. But he does have Embiid acting as the low man rim protector. But again, he's going to have to deal with the long reach of Harris. So we're seeing the inconsistent looks that the 76ers are giving Brunson from possession to possession. And it seems like when the smaller defender and Tyrese Maxey is on him, there's going to be a double team. When a lanky defender like Tobias Harris or Kelly Oubre is on Brunson, the double team comes sporadically. So right here in this series, this is the first time we're seeing this version of the two-man game between Tyrese Maxey and Embiid. As right here, we're going to see the dangers of it. It sounds so simple, but yet because of their versatile skill sets, just Maxey being a threat from out here and Embiid just being a guy who can take you down low, pull up from anywhere, from 3, from mid-range, you're going to see the dangers of just this very play right here. Not only the hesitation between the Knicks 2 defenders on trying to figure out whether Embiid is going to take it himself, or is the speedy Maxey going to pull off and just shoot a 3 or just go downhill. But watch, we're going to see that slight hesitation. Embiid takes it himself. But it doesn't matter that Hart is already in position because he's good enough to back him down. But now that also forces the double team. You're going to have to double team him at this point because this is still Embiid's sweet spot to operate in. And within that double team, now you leave Maxey wide open. This is why this two-man game between both of them is such a threat, and it sounds so simple with a lot of their players not really contributing offensively. But just having these two alone, these guys could almost hit 70 points every game between the two. But again, right here, Embiid will always be a threat in this dribble handoff. He'll always be a threat to just take it himself. And Maxey will always be a threat with his speed getting the ball within this dribble handoff, because there's always going to be a slight hesitation once this play happens. Matter of fact, there's going to be a slight hesitation once Maxey makes this initial pass, because then he can just quickly cut, because he goes from off ball to all of a sudden he's going to be an on ball threat. Let's take a look at it again. Right here, once he lets go of the ball, there's already a slight hesitation right here, because he's no longer an on-ball threat. But within that slight hesitation, now he's going to go quickly back on ball. And Embiid at the same time, he has the ball, so he is the threat. So he doesn't have to hand it off to him. He could just take it himself, similar to Draymond Green. We've seen Big Body Dre do this a lot. But Maxey is also a threat because of his speed. He's so fucking fast. And also we have to contribute the final factor, the slight hesitation between Hartenstein trying to pick up to see if Maxey is going to be on ball to go downhill or to stick with Embiid because he can fake it and take it himself. So there's going to be another slight hesitation between both players. See? The hesitation with Hartenstein for a quick second, anticipating Maxey coming down. But he does a good job sticking with Embiid, but it's not over quite yet because now Embiid could just post him up right here, which this is his spot. And at the same time, Maxey, after that double team, is going to be wide open. So this is the conundrum right here. And this is the same exact formula that's working out in Denver. It's possibly going to make those boys back-to-back champions. It sounds so simple, but just having a skilled big man like Embiid and Jokic, and just having a point guard who's not only speedy, but can knock down shots and is in rhythm with his big man, it's what makes this all deadly. Now, Brunson right here, once again, one-on-one with Tobias Harris. No one's stunting, no one's committing. He's going to get to his spot, and he just misses it. But Embiid, not really jumping in this half, not really even grabbing a defensive board. Hartenstein is able to get another offensive board. And the last 2 offensive rebounds the Knicks got is really what ended up killing the Philadelphia 76ers. They worked so hard to keep us off the glass all game long, just to give up the very last 2 offensive rebounds that ended up giving us the opportunity to take the game away. So after that offensive rebound, Brunson attempts a 3-point shot. Once again, another miss by Brunson. But Kyle Lowry gets fouled and he splits the free throws. Now after Kyle Lowry splits the free throws, the Knicks are down by 5 and Jalen Brunson right here redeems himself. So even though Kyle Lowry had an opportunity to put the 76ers up by 3 at this point, remember he split the free throws. It could have been 102-99. But the 76ers, they cannot really blame the officials here. They had plenty of opportunities to pretty much close this game out. As right here, we're going to see the offensive rebounding be very poor by Joel Embiid. This box out is going to be real shit. And Isaiah Hartenstein once again comes up with the second crucial offensive board to pretty much put away the 76ers. Look at Joel, he doesn't even jump. Poor box out, doesn't even jump, and the rest is history. Now once again, pay attention to Isaiah Hartenstein, where he's at on the floor. I mean, look at him coming for this rebound. That right there was our 12th offensive board. So the 76ers basically fought the whole game to keep us off the offensive boards until the last 30 seconds of the game, and this is what ended up killing them. So it is what it is. The 76ers had a poor execution on closing out this game, and the Knicks were able to narrowly escape with the victory, but there's a lot to take in. A lot of adjustments that need to be made. Being up 2-0 doesn't really explain the whole story, and it's going to be a long road ahead. Thibs have made great adjustments in the second half, adding the Isaiah Hartenstein's floater game to exploit some of the areas that Embiid wasn't quite as mobile in defending. And also in this very game, we've seen the importance of some of the non-Embiid and the non-Jalen Brunson minutes, as the Knicks were able to maintain themselves within that time frame within the second and third quarters. Bojan was able to come through and hit a couple of big time shots. We've seen Deuce McBride and Josh Hart play really great defense, and those very minutes pretty much helped the Knicks swing this game, as the 76ers were not able to take advantage of Jalen Brunson not being on the floor. But sprinkle on top of that some of the fourth quarter blunders by the 76ers, you have a hell of a dust up. But it's definitely going to be a long road ahead in this series. But until next time, you fellas stay safe. Peace.